I don't want to say an order taker, but I was an order taker, right? We're all order takers, right? And so until you start making your own, money and doing what you need to do with it, then you can say what you want to do with your money.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining another YouTube video and podcast video, right? Well, I don't know if it's a video, but it's an audio. But anyways, with this being said, we talk about self-development, we talk about fitness, we talk about faith, and we talk about money. We do this with individuals that are working at the highest level. And speaking of higher levels, I'm bringing a good friend of mine to as a guest. I'm so honored, man, to have you here. His name is Martin Aguilar, and we know each other for a long time. We worked in the financial industry for quite a while, and then he moved to better and bigger things. And I'm so honored to catch up, and not just between us, but with an audience to try to show what it takes to develop ourselves, and if you want to do better and develop yourself. What it takes to do that. So with this being said, bro, I'll just give you a chance to introduce yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the listeners and watchers out there. I appreciate your time, Julio, and I appreciate everyone who's watching right now. My name is Martin Aguilar, and I work in the real estate industry right now. I do mainly escrow. For those of you who don't know what escrow is, basically, it's the referee who holds the money deposits for the sellers and the buyers, and we get into that another day. But for now, I just want to talk about myself and help everyone else understand what it takes to be successful. I'm not saying I'm way up there, but hey, I mean, there's a lot of the things that I had to go through to get where I'm at. And I like to share those things with you guys because it wasn't easy. But it wasn't that hard either.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you're talking about those hard things, bro. Like, I know that a lot of people tend to grow based on either they either had a really good role models when they were young, or they had crazy adversities. And I wanted to talk to you about that. Like, mainly, what do you think made you grow when you were little, or like, I guess, gave you that mindset of, hey, I want to do better. I want to develop myself to, the best of my abilities. Right. You think that was like your childhood? Talk to me about your childhood, and maybe what within your childhood gave you that motivation.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Well, growing up, we all have struggles. We're not born with all the things that we may need, all the tools, all the resources that we need to soak up when we're children, right? They say education is always the best thing that you need to do. And as we're kids, we don't look at that. We always, look at the smaller picture, not the bigger picture. Especially when we're kids, we can't see what we're doing. So I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't, the grade A student in school. I'd always want to do things on my own. Like, just take things into my own perspective and just be like, I'm gonna try this and grow from it, right? So I always had a hard time trying to study in class, just pay attention or just listen. But at the end of the day, for some odd reason, I don't know how, I'd always get like at least a C, a B or a C. And I don't know how I passed my test. I never cheated. I was never looking at anyone's test. For some reason, it always stayed in the back of my mind. Like, I soaked everything up, but I was always like goofing off in class, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be like the most popular kid. That was me. I always wanted to, like, hey, look at me, guys. So by the time I would say, high school came around, I wasn't even thinking about college. I wasn't thinking like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? What career path do I want? I was kind of a late bloomer. I just kind of like went with the flow. I started working when I was, I want to say 15 and a half, 16. I started working as like a janitor at my schools. I wanted to make money. I wanted to learn and make money, right? So, hey, I started working as a janitor, and I can't recall how much money I used to make back in the day, when I was 16, but it was nice. I go to school, I went to work, And then, I didn't really do any type of activities. I didn't play football. I didn't play basketball. I didn't play baseball. I mean, I loved playing those sports when, by myself with some friends, but never got into it with like, the
You
team.
have passion for it.
I had a passion for it, but I didn't have a passion to do it for a school.
Mm.
I just kind of wanted to make money, learn a little bit, and then see what I could do with my money. So
So,
I've
mainly
always been
finances was always like you were seeking that, like how to become established.
money was on my mind, but I didn't know how to make. I didn't know how to make it other than doing like like a 9 to 5 job. Like like sometimes being a person of like kind of like, I don't want to say an order taker, but I was an order taker, right? We're all order takers, right? And so until you start making your own money and doing what you need to do with it, then you can say what you want to do with your money.
Yeah,
So I did that. I did a couple other things, as
you're
like
young.
a young entrepreneur.
Gotcha. And so, like within your family, do you had like a role model? Anybody like an uncle, like your dad, your mom, like a far family member? Because I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, my dad, he was he was a painter.
Uh-huh.
And he made really good money. He worked at this place called Teledyne Ryan, painting like Apache helicopters.
Wow.
So he made good money. My mom, she made good money. She worked at as a what is it? She worked as, I don't want to say receptionist, but she worked at Kaiser. She worked at Kaiser Permanente.
Okay.
She had a good position. She always made good money too.
Got it. Got it. No, well, so you think mainly was just like your friends, like because I always try to get to that, like I've been explaining these shark in the fish tank to a
Right,
few of the guests,
right,
and either you have a shark that's pushing you or pulling you, right?
right,
Um,
exactly.
yeah. So then that's kind of what I'm trying to get to. Like, do you feel like it was like not like you not wanting to be like your parents or doing better than your parents, or seeing your
Right.
surroundings and you wanted to get out of that? What do you think was the biggest thing that?
Well, I think my biggest role models were my grandparents.
Mm,
So I'm gonna go backwards a little bit. Before I started working at the high school, as a young child, my grandparents had a business. They used to sell shoes,
oh, okay, okay.
Nike, Puma, uh, all the old school shoes that you could think of, Elise. So they had a business in Calexico, right? So they had
Oh,
a house
okay.
in Calexico. So I think it was like the summertime. I would go spend the summer out there, and I'd help them sell shoes, and I'd get like a little paycheck at the end of the week, and I'd go and spend it on like the churros. I'll buy a ball. I learned how to make money.
Right.
It's crazy, and it was fun. It wasn't hard work. It was easy. It was like, hey, mijo, go give me this Nike in a size 9. Boom, got it. Wrap this bag up for Mister So and So. He's back for some more shoes. It was helping out other people. People came to us because they knew what they wanted, they knew what they liked, and we always had it in stock. So
That's
I
cool.
guess you're right, and that was a good question. Where does this start at? It starts when you're either small, uh, teenager, or an adult, but it starts somewhere. So that's where my passion started
You
for
think it
me.
was right there? That's
I think
cool.
it
Yeah,
was
'cause
right there.
I feel that, like the hardship, of either, like seeing, not the hardship, but either seeing a role model in your life that you're like, man, like that's what I see purpose
Yes.
in life, and I kind of want to follow the footsteps they're doing, or just kind of like following kind of like the structure, or however they got to where they are at that moment.
Right.
Man, I kind of want to get to that place.
Yeah.
um but so bringing, so you say you went to college, you said?
I did a community college, nothing major.
Nothing major. And so
Nothing major.
so I know we met, for everybody was that's watching, we met working as a bank
Yes.
in Point Loma here in San Diego, and that was maybe like what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
No, that was, oh my gosh, no, that
Oh,
was
more.
6 years ago.
It's showing our age. It's showing our age.
that
No,
was
so
that was about, so yeah, that was 6 years ago. 33, 30. I would say, yeah, about 6 years ago, roughly. Yeah, because I worked, we worked at the bank for about, I was there for about 2.5 years. almost three, and then I went to another bank
Another
after
bank.
that, because I was, I found growth with another bank.
Right. I remember.
So
So
yeah,
yeah, just so you guys know, I was a teller at the time. He was a banker. But yeah, I always saw. I feel like that group that we had at the time, they were all like looking for better and bigger things. Like
yeah.
doesn't matter who it was. Like each banker had like a goal. Everybody was going after something. At the time, I had a clothing line. I remember.
I know, I love that clothing line, and we have to talk about that clothing line because I have some things in the works, and that's for a later discussion. But man, so
Yeah.
many things are just happening right now in life. It's amazing.
It's
It's amazing.
amazing. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I had a clothing line at the time, and I remember I always been, like my go getter mindset. It's always been there. So I've been through some rough times since then.
yeah,
Maybe maybe you don't know, but I've been through some rough times, and I was able to, I took banking more like as a career at that time because of what I was going through, and
right,
then so far I still been in banking, but always self development and going out and seeking something that you have passion for and
right.
create value in the marketplace. Man, it's always been like my like just
Your
my
passion.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
yeah,
passion.
definitely.
So tell me a little bit about like how were you able to start just building from working at the bank? How's it been that journey, bro? Like since you started to now, like how's it been like internally, because
Right.
externally you show so many things, but like mindset wise, do you think like do you break some doubts, like hey, I could never work or do this, and then you actually accomplished it? How's it been like that for you? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, gosh, working at the bank was always like a little passion or dream, right? I mean, it comes from growth. I want to, you want to make more money, and at the same time, you want to look good doing it, right? I just
I feel
love dressing.
you.
I love dressing up. By the way, that's a nice outfit there. I love that. You always had class. It looks good.
Appreciate it.
So it was always about suits and ties and just the watches that always I admired, and I said, hey, you know what? Someday I'm gonna be in that suit. I'm gonna be one of those guys that looks GQ.
No,
And I want to look good doing what I'm doing. So once I got into the bank, it was a total different ball game. It was training, learning things, learning laws. It's not just banking. You don't just bring your money to a bank and it goes into a bank account. There's a lot of things out there that we do to help these clients out, and it's financially. Whether it's an auto loan, a home loan, an investment, their credit. I mean, you're dealing with people's lives here. This is something that you have to learn, and you have to be detailed upon and help these clients out, and not only help them out, but you're helping yourself out. You're learning new things, right? You're doing things that you haven't seen or you didn't learn before, and you're taking all those things, and you're just building your portfolio as well.
mm-hmm.
You're bringing value to not only to the bank but to each individual that you see.
Mm-hmm.
And there's steps that you have to take, whether it's being a teller, a banker, a home loan specialist, or a credit card specialist, right?
Right.
um, and I love the structure, with the bank, because you sometimes you feel like you're on your own, but you're really not. You have your partners, right? Like you mentioned, the people that we worked with, they all wanted to see everyone grow, and I love that about the bank. So you help me, and then I help you, and then
Right.
we help each other just grow and try to hit those goals. And
Right.
that's good about growing. You have to be with people that want you to grow as well.
Right.
And sometimes not just because of their own benefit, but at the same time, people that you have to care about other people. It's not a one-way street in this world.
Yeah.
You got to help other people out as well in order to get that help back.
I heard this thing that says, your income is a reflection of your impact.
Hmm.
If you're making an impact to those around you, doesn't matter if it's a coworker or a client in front of you, if you're really making an impact in their lives, the
Yeah,
income is going to be there. Your
right.
profit, whatever you're seeking, it's going to
Hmm.
happen.
Yeah,
And so yeah, I agree with you. Like that's servanthood mindset is key to, yeah, to grow. Especially in the day and age that we are right now, like with social media and whatnot, like a lot of people use it for pleasure and others use it for purpose. And that's,
Right.
that's my mindset. I use, and I know that that's for you too, because I always see you, purposely using your social media.
Oh
You're
yeah.
not using it just
Definitely.
for fun. Yeah, you do. I mean, you will post a friend or whatnot, but
Right. Yeah.
primarily, the power of it.
Yeah.
And some will just use it just to spend their days, waste their day just looking at different things, and others
Exactly.
use it to really grow themselves and get to the next level.
Hmm.
So now that you moved from banking, how was a change? Because we stopped talking about after that, after you,
Yeah.
moved from banking. So what made you move to escrow and do like go more into real estate?
That's a good question. That's another good question. So, I mean, obviously, you meet people, right? When you're in banking, you meet a lot of people. I mean, daily, you're meeting a lot of people, and you're building relationships with those people, and sometimes those people become your friends. One of the things that changed my perspective about banking was I kind of wanted to have like a little more freedom, a little more time for myself to grow and take everything that I learned from banking and kind of put it into like uh, my own business. Even though escrow is not my own business, um, all the hard work, education, skills that I learned, it is your business. Like it's yours. No one can take that from you. Everything that you built here, it's all yours. And in the real estate world, there's some good money to be made. There's really good money to be made. So when I left Wells Fargo, I went to Bank of America.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there was a time where we're just doing a lot of work, a lot of work, a lot of work, a lot of work, and they were requesting that everyone gets their notary license.
Mm. Okay.
So we're thinking to ourselves, wow, we're just doing all this work and now we have to do our notary license. Wow, more challenges, right? You're thinking, dang, more challenges. Why?
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, you're looking at it like, man, I don't know if I can do this. It's just too much on my plate, right? So, I got my notary license, and again, all the work came in. It's a lot of work, same pay, just more,
So yeah, yeah,
more
yeah,
another job to do, right? So I started doing some research. What can I do with my notary license? Because although was requested to do a notaries for the bank, you could do whatever you wanted on your own time. So I just kind of started doing some research and started getting into what can I do with my business. I could do home loan signings. So that right there, I built a LinkedIn account, took all my skills, put everything that I can, built a resume, and started looking for business development manager positions. I threw it out there, and one day I got a call from my escrow company and saying, "Hey, we like your resume. We want to interview you." Whoa, escrow? What is escrow? I don't know nothing about escrow. What is that? And then from there, my journey began in escrow. It's
That's
crazy.
awesome,
So
man.
yeah,
Well, what I take from this story though is the fact that you took a leap of faith though, because you didn't know really what was gonna come out of it.
I
You
had
were
no idea.
just, and a lot of people like complain. I can see, you what you're looking more for flexibility, right, within your
Right.
work, and
Hmm.
and I see that in banking currently.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
get more work for the same amount of pay.
Hmm.
But what you did with it was like, okay, well, if they're preparing me for this, why don't I just use that outside of work
Oh
and
yeah,
try to expand, right?
exactly.
So I guess something we can get from this is now not basically using your lemons to make lemonade in a sense.
Exactly. That's how I look at it now. Like I can't even, thank Bank of America enough to say, wow, you have no idea how many doors were open because I had my notary license.
Right.
And at the time, I wasn't even. What's a notary? Like, what? I had no idea what. I never needed a notary in my life. But it's crazy how many people do need notaries in their lives. So
Right.
that opened up so many doors.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you do? Because I know you're one of those people that are always like like motivated and you want to do more. You want to
Yeah.
expand. What keeps you hungry, man? What keeps you hungry? What do you think keeps you hungry?
Wow, that's a good question. That's a real good question. I think what keeps me hungry is, my family. I want to help people out. more importantly, I want to help my family just grow. Like I have brothers, I have sisters. They're all younger than me. They all have kids, and I want to be a great role model for them. Like my grandparents were a great role model for me. I want them to see that there's a light beyond, whatever darkness that anyone is having.
Right, right, right.
Whether it's finances, they don't see a future. Not saying that they don't, but sometimes, you don't know what's inside of a kid's mind, or your best friend's mind. I want people to see the light that I'm bringing, so they see the shine. Um, that way, everyone has a opportunity to do the same thing that I did, and that I'm doing.
Right, right, right. That's good that you say that, because I feel like that's been a pattern on everybody that I interview so far. It's been always like, hey, I want to create like a road. I want to break barriers for them. I want
Yeah,
to, show them that it's possible. I want to show people that, this is a passion that I feel is a common pattern in people that
right.
are, you know, um, trying to go to a new level or trying to do things out of their comfort zone, because it's
Yeah.
not easy. Like you said, it's not easy, but it's also not hard. if
Nope.
you if you structure yourself. I was talking to my wife earlier today. Sometimes, yeah, there is two things that could hinder you from growth: your willpower or your structure. Okay. If you don't have, you could be very, very weak on willpower, but if you have a good structure and you say, hey, at 9 a.m. I'm doing this, at 11 I'm doing this, at 1 I'm doing this. If you have a
Yeah.
structure, you know a little bit of you're giving yourself a little more chances to actually follow through. um,
Exactly.
but if you
Exactly.
have good willpower, you probably don't need a structure, but a lot of people do. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, in your case, like, I know that it's been a lot of willpower in you, because I see that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are just, they're just like, just writing everything. I gotta do
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
I gotta do
Definitely.
that. And you see these people in the gym too. There's some people that go and they don't need to, write down what they're doing. They
Oh
just
yeah.
go in and
It,
get.
it's just there. They're like a human, like a human robot.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, brother. I agree. Creating like roads for our families and those around us, because ultimately we're impacting not just our lives, but those around us. So,
True. True.
um, tell me a little bit. I know that. Let me see, what time is it. We got plenty of time, but tell me a little bit about, like, ultimately, what is your message to those that maybe lack that willpower, or lack, or have self-doubt, depression, don't they didn't have a good role model like you did, like your
Yeah.
grandparents. um I know I sent you a video yesterday, and that
Yeah.
spoke to
That was
a lot of
explosive.
that. Yeah.
That
And
was that was very explosive.
what is your, I guess, that fire that you could transmit to someone that's listening right now that wants to do better.
That's a good question. Everyone is different. Everyone is built different. It just depends. You have to, and like you said, write down what motivates you, what
Mhm.
makes you happy, what makes you unhappy, and having that willpower and that structure. You have to write it down. You have to write it down, and then you have to, because it's a vision that you have to see, right? You have to see exactly where you want to be. It's. I know we could daydream and look at it, but if you don't write it down, it's not there. It's just a thought in our mind. And at the same time, like I said, what excites you, what motivates you, and watch some videos about that. Just and then look at yourself and say, how do I get there? What does it take for me to do that? It's not going to happen overnight, but I mean, whether it's learning how to ride a horse, you're not just going to jump on a horse and learn how to ride it. I mean, I know that for a fact because I was thrown off of a horse, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. But I mean, for myself, if anyone could take this and put it to use for myself, motivation quotes, watching people that are on fire, watching their growth, whether they're selling shoes, doing hair, just the lifestyles that that attract us, right? Putting all that into perspective and making it happen.
Yeah, yeah,
So you have to do it every single day. It's not going to happen overnight.
I like that. I like that a lot. The repetitiveness that
Repetitive.
you have to
Yeah.
have to be able to accomplish anything. Because yeah, it's easy to start. You know, the start is the easiest part,
Mhm.
but that
Oh yeah.
consistency, that determination, and staying motivated
Yeah.
through the whole process, that's the hard
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Um,
Finding out what works for you. I mean, I'm pretty sure yourself and myself, there's things that we try to do and it just didn't work. Apps, websites, all that stuff that you try to put and say, oh my gosh, this is gonna work for my business, and then it turns out, oh, that's not what I wanted. You spend 100 here, you
uh-huh.
spend 24 hours doing this,
Mhm.
5 hours doing that. Like, you can't get that time back, you can't get that money back, but you can't quit. You got to keep on going.
Right.
It might not happen this week. You have to wait for that next paycheck. And then just kind of like ask people the industry that you're trying to do. Ask other people. Don't be afraid.
Mhm.
They'll help you out. They'll share. I mean, some of us are afraid to ask other competitors, right? Hey, do you mind, helping me out, getting started? I'm sure they're gonna say, you know what? Hey, thank you for asking. I'm gonna help you out. Why? Because they know how hard it was to be successful,
Mhm.
right? And there's more than enough to go around for everyone.
Right. Right.
Always, always.
I think something that spoke to me a lot about what you're saying is humility. A lot of people
Yeah,
are, either too prideful or too, fearful to say,
right.
I don't know. You know,
Exactly.
I don't know. And
Exactly.
that's a powerful sentence,
Right.
because when
Yeah.
you say you don't know, you're opening doors to know.
To doubt or yeah, or to doubt. And when you have doubt, you're just going to stick with doubt. It doesn't work that way. And I think you and I know there was a lot of I don't knows in the bank. uh, but you never want to say I don't know. We had resources for those things. We had the computer, you have the website, you have a phone. You pick up and say, hey, I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z. How can we do that? Boom, done. Next thing you know, you're writing up a contract for a client, and they don't know that you didn't know,
Right.
right? But you just got to ask those questions. You just have to
Right.
ask those questions.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. No, man, I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because I resonate a lot with your process, like your growth, especially because I feel like I buy and sell cars, and I mentioned this on my interview. You buy and
Yeah,
sell shoes, and I
yeah,
purchase and these things, and I know we're
right.
go getters. We're not.
Mhm.
The word hustler almost has like a negative connotation to it, because I feel like you're like ambitious or anything like that, but just
Yeah.
just growth, because like
Mhm.
it's selfless. I told this to another guest, it's selfless not to try to do better and bigger things. I'll explain you
Oh,
why.
okay.
Because if you don't try to do what you're doing, I know for a fact whoever you get your shoes, whoever you get your purses from, is
Mhm.
feeding off of that and is having a life because of it,
True.
right? You're
That is true.
impacting
Oh yeah.
that person, and whoever is getting that purse, whoever is getting that shoes, you're impacting
Mhm.
their life too.
Oh
They're
yeah.
feeling good, they're doing whatever they want to do with it.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're making the right investment, right? That's
Right.
on
Right.
the other side. But
Yeah.
ultimately, it's selfless not to try to do better things, because like when I'm doing this, when I started doing the videos, I didn't have an
Yeah.
editor. Now, because it grew, now because I got so many coming and coming and coming, I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, I can't deal with so many, like edit so many
Right.
videos. Now I had to hire someone. Now
Yeah.
that person is feeding off of an initiative I had,
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
I agree 100%, man, on like just going after your goals and dreams,
Mhm.
being humble, asking when you don't know how to do it, and just being vulnerable. I feel like you learn a lot.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
So, but yeah, man, and I also know that I know you're a believer. I seen you like posting things of motivation and also God related. In
Oh
in
yeah. Definitely.
in this channel, man, we talk about self development, like I mentioned at first, and we also talk about faith. Because
Yeah.
it's easy to tie our motivation to a material thing,
Right.
but how about when things don't work our way? We tend to either pray, we tend to either cry. So
Yeah.
tell
Exactly.
me a little bit about like that internal battle, when it comes to not necessarily motivation, but having a faithful mindset, about whatever you're doing. So how do you deal with when something doesn't work your way?
That's a good question. Well, as we're younger, we always, have fits when we're younger, right? Fits always took care of everything. But now that we're adults, fit won't take care of nothing in life, right? It's not going to help you. It's not going to help anyone else. And when I say fit, it means, throwing, oh man, this, I hate this, like complaints and negativity. It's going to stay here and it's not going to help you move forward. I've had so many unsuccessful, you know, doubts in my mind that had just made me grow. So when all those negative stumbles happened, I learned how to make them into a positive, like making lemonade out of lemons. It's been so many times, and you learn from that. Not saying that everyone deserves that, because some people could go through life without any type of lemons, but it's the people like you and I that we've been through those processes that help us grow and keep moving forward. Right now, I look at something as a negative or a bump in the road as, oh my gosh, okay, how am I going to get past this? Like, I love this. Like, give me the challenge, because I'm going to grow and I'm going to make it happen. And again, yeah, faith, keeping that faith. Like, oh man, I know God has my back, because I'm doing great. I'm not out here doing bad things. Although bad things do happen to us, we think that bad things happen to us. They're not really bad things. They're just daily life scenarios, right? Like, you get a flat tire on your way to a business meeting. You drop coffee on the way over there. You're like, the devil is out for me today. No, the devil's not out for you today. I mean, it just, accidents happen.
Right.
You
Yeah,
can't think of it as,
there's something huge in the Bible, and since you're talking about it, like it says like trials just create endurance. That's what it does. Like when you go through challenges, all it does is build up your endurance to be able to confront those next trials that you have. And a lot of people want bigger and better things, but you do have to have like what do you in Spanish we have this thing like a costra. They call it like these hard. You have to have a hard skin to be able to take on positive and negatives. When things don't work your way, you don't lose that that vision. So that's what it does. The trials, all it does is build up that strength in you to not lose sight of where you're going.
To have that hard skin, right? Yeah, so that way you don't lose faith when those things happen.
That's awesome, brother. So, man, I feel like we talked a lot about, multiple things that ultimately I feel, and I always say, either changes someone's life or transform someone's mind, because, we get so many wrong information from our friends and family. And I hope that, your life journey and your mindset, helps those that are listening. And I want to give you these last a few minutes to if you're doing anything that you want to promote, I always give a free time for you to do so, and also some last words. Man, I appreciate once again this time, because I know we were planning to do this. It worked out. So take this time, brother, and then any last words?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Julio. Again, everyone out there, I know it's a struggle. I know everyone will get where they need to be at in life. And if not, I mean, hey, I'm here to help you out. Julio's here to help you out. If I can help you out, there's someone just like me that I have coached, mentored, to be just like me. Like I said, I do escrow. However, I do real estate with partners. I have real estate partners that I work with. I do life insurance, investments. I do credit repair. So if you feel like you're one of those people that need credit repair, or you just can't get past, a certain area in your life because of credit, give me a call. I can help you out with any of those items. I also, sell designer bags, purses, shoes. I got some clothes in the making, so that's going to be explosive for everyone out there.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm gonna put his Instagram here, you guys. I mean, I put it everywhere, but in case you don't see it, I'm gonna put it right now under him, so you guys can go ahead and look him up. And if you have to DM him, we're pretty active on Instagram, I know for a fact. And I mean, I'm trying to build my TikTok. I don't like the videos, but it tends to be something.
TikTok is amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
So, but yeah, man, I appreciate your time here. I know that you got to get back to work and whatnot, but you guys, I appreciate you guys' time as well, because every time I do an interview, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes money to make. But with this being said, Martin, muchas gracias, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hopefully we do another one if people like it. Actually, you guys comment right now if you want to have an interview about escrow, if you want to know what it is, or if you want to find out a little bit about life insurance, credit, like he mentioned. Since he's an expert in the area, we can ask him questions around it and learn about it. Definitely. So with this being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, afternoon, or night, wherever you guys are at. And with this, we say goodbye.